My family mocked my illness. Stop faking it for attention. I replied, "Okay." Then my generosity, funding their lifestyles, dried up completely. They didn't expect that and were frantically apologizing when their credit cards were declined. Original post, I 38M, still kind of reeling, but mostly just numb. My name is Kevin. For years, Eve been dealing with a chronic condition. It's not life-threatening, but it causes significant pain and fatigue, flares up unpredictably, and basically makes adulting a special kind of helm days. I've been fortunate in my career. Hashtag software development, which allows me to work from home a lot and manage my health. Because of this financial stability, I've always been the generous one in my family. My sister Amanda, 35F, her husband Brian, 37M, and my younger brother George, 29, have all benefited from this. Amanda is a part-time yoga instructor. BRN is a freelance graphic designer, mostly between gigs, and George is an aspiring musician. Work sporadic bar shifts. I've helped them with down payments for cars, covered rent more times than I can count. Hashtag ID for business startup costs that never went anywhere, generally kept them afloat. Their kids, my niece Deborah, 10F, and nephew Timothy, get lavish birthday and Christmas present from Uncle Kevin. I paid for their private school tuition last year. When Brian's big project fell through last month, I had a particularly bad flare-up. Had to cancel on a family dinner Amanda was hosting. I explained I was in a lot of pain. The group chat Amanda, again, Kevin, you seriously need to stop faking it for attention. It's getting old. You dude, a bit dramatic. We all get tired, George, just push through it, man. It's all in your head. My own mother, Melissa, 62, chimed in with they have a point, deal. Sometimes you need to be stronger. I stared at my phone, faking it for attention. After all these years, all the specialists, the medication, the sheer effort it takes to just function. That's what they thought. It was like a switch flipped. All the warmth I felt, the desire to help just vanished. Reply to the group chat was okay. It was radio silence from them for a day or so after my okay. They probably thought I was just sulking. They had no idea what was about to hit them once those changes I was about to make processed. And then I started making calls and online changes. The family credit card, I had a credit card that Amanda and BRN were authorized users on. It was primarily for emergencies and kid-related expenses, but had morphed into their grocery card, gas card, and random Amazon purchases. Car balance was usually around $2,000 a month, which I logged into my bank. Click Amanda and BRN removed his authorized user's card. Security code changed George rent stipend. ID bin sending George $800 a month directly to his bank account to help with his apartment. Logged into my bank, canceled the recurring transfer. The kid's school tuition next semester's installment was due in a few weeks. ID already paid the first half. I emailed the school bursar explaining that I would no longer be covering tuition for Deborah and Timothy beyond the current paid term, and future financial arrangements would need to be made directly with their parents, Amanda and BR. I made sure to CC both Amanda and BRN on this email so they couldn't claim ignorance. Shared streaming and subscriptions. Netflix, a premium movie channel bundle, a family music plan, all under my name and main account. Logged out all devices, changed passwords. Amanda's car insurance, her car, a fairly new SUV ID, helped her buy. Put down a hefty 50% deposit, was under my family insurance plan because it was significantly cheaper. I called my insurance agent, explained I needed to remove Amanda's vehicle from my policy at renewal, which was in 3 weeks. He confirmed the change would be processed and official notification letters would be sent out by the company to all concerned parties, including directly to Amanda as the primary driver of that vehicle, just to be absolutely sure she couldn't miss it. I also shot Amanda a brief email with the subject, FYI, upcoming car insurance policy change, reiterating that the coverage through my policy would end on the specified renewal date mentioned in the official notice. It took about an hour. No drama, no yelling, just a quiet, methodical dismantling of the financial support system they'd clearly taken for granted and frankly felt entitled to, while simultaneously mocking my genuine struggles. Let's see how long the silence lasts when the first card gets declined 1 week later. Well, that day or so of silence definitely ended. The first little firework went off 3 days after I made the changes. Got a call from Amanda. Not a hey, how are you feeling? Call. Oh no, more like a strangle squawk. Kevin, my card was declined at the grocery store with a full cart. Do you know how embarrassing that was? Which card? Amanda? Calm, collected. Like I'm asking about the weather. The card. The one I always use. What did you do? I removed you as an authorized user. It's my card after all. Why would you do that without telling me? You and Brian felt I was faking my illness for attention. If I'm not genuinely ill, then I surely don't need to be so generous with funds that could be used for my own non-existent health issues, right? I'm just taking your advice and being stronger with my finances. Click. She hung up. About an hour later, Brian called. He tried a different tactic, the buddy-buddy approach. Hey, Kevin. Buddy. Amanda's a bit hysterical. Some misunderstanding about a card. Me? No misunderstanding, BRN. I made some financial adjustments. Look, about that group chat. We were just trying to, snap you out of it. Tough love. Didn't mean to actually offend you. Me mocking a chronic illness isn't tough love, Brian. It's cruelty. And it clarified my position on certain things. The cart is off the table. But Kevin, the kids. How are we supposed to buy groceries? Deba needs new shoes. You're both adults, Brian. You have jobs. Presumably you have your own bank accounts and cards. Boys getting tight? Amanda's yoga barely covers her gas. And my design work is slow right now. Sounds like a personal problem. Not mine anymore. Hung up. Then came George, bless his cotton socks. Text, dude, WTF? My rent money didn't come through. Landlord's going to have my hide. Correct? I stopped the transfer. You said my illness was in my head. So I'm using that money for, a new gaming PC since I'm clearly not spending it on doctors. I'm not actually. But it felt good to type, George. Not cool, Kevin. He'll be homeless. Get a few more bar shifts. Then problem solved. The kicker was my mother, Melissa. She called yesterday. Melissa, dear, your sister is very upset and Brian and George told me you cut them off. I think you're overreacting to a little family teasing. Mom, with all due respect, it wasn't teasing. It was a dismissal of something I live with every single day. And it was the last straw. My financial decisions are my own, Melissa, but they rely on you. You've always helped it. What family does? Family also doesn't accuse each other of faking illnesses for attention. Mom, they've made their beds. Now they get to lie in them. You're being cold, Kevin. This isn't like you. No, Mom, I'm being logical. They said okay to my illness being fake. I said okay to their free ride ending. She huffed and said I was being disappointing and hung up. The best part, or worst, depending on your view, Amanda apparently tried to pay for a fancy new healing crystals workshop. The irony is not lost on me with the now defunct card. Declined, obviously. Then tried to get Brian to pay. He apparently patted his empty pockets. Heard from a cousin that Amanda had a full-blown meltdown in the crystal shop. So yeah, they're mad. They're scrambling. And they still think I'm the one in the wrong. The entitlement is breathtaking. No apologies, just demands and accusations. Waiting for the school tuition and car insurance to drop. That's going to be fun. 3 weeks later, things have escalated as predicted. The entitlement just keeps on giving. The school tuition bomb detonated spectacularly. Amanda called me absolutely screeching. Amanda, Kevin, the school. They said you're not paying for Deba and Timothy anymore. How could you do this to your niece and nephew? Me? Amanda, I CC'd you on the email I sent to the school weeks ago informing them and you that I would not be covering further tuition. You need to make arrangements. But we can't make arrangements. We don't have that kind of money. You always paid. It's your fault if they get kicked out. Actually, no. It's the responsibility of the parents to fund their children's education. My previous contributions were gifts, not obligations. Gifts I'm no longer inclined to give. Given your opinions on my health. BRN. Then got on the phone full of bluster. BRN. This is unacceptable, Kevin. You're punishing innocent children for a small disagreement. A small disagreement? You accuse me of being a manipulative liar. BRN. That's not small. And the children aren't being punished by me. They're being affected by their parents' inability or unwillingness to budget for their chosen lifestyle. Amanda wailing in the background. They'll have to go to public school with those kids. Me? Millions of children attend public school and turn out just fine. Amanda, perhaps ITLL build character, hung up while they were still yelling. The sheer classism was astounding. Then came George. Oh, George. He actually showed up at my apartment, banging on the door. Kevin, man, open up. We need to talk. I opened the door, kept the chain on. He looked disheveled and panicked. George, I got an eviction notice. Seriously, you gotta help me out. Just this once. We'll pay you back. I swear. Me. George. I told you, the bank of Kevin is closed. You said my illness was in my head. You think it's easy for me to work and earn the money I was giving you while dealing with actual physical pain? No. Then figured out. But where will I go? Mom said she can't put me up. Her spare room is full of her quilting stuff. Of course it is me. That sounds like a problem, George. Couch surf, get a roommate, get a second job. You're young and healthy. By your own admission, much healthier than I am. He started pleading, then got angry, calling me a bunch of names. ID just slowly closed the door. Heard him kick it once, then stomp off. Good riddance. The supporting cast has also emerged. My Aunt Carol, Mom's sister, called to tell me I was tearing the family apart and being selfish. Aunt Carol. Melissa is beside herself. Amanda is a wreck. You have a money, Kevin. Why are you being so cruel? Me, Aunt Carol? Did Mom also tell you they accused me of faking my chronic illness for years? Did she mention they mocked me? Well, no, but family squabble. You should be the bigger person. I was the bigger person for years, Aunt Carol. My wallet was certainly now. I'm just being a person who wanted disrespected and used. If that tears the family apart, then the family was built on a pretty shaky foundation of my money, wasn't it? She sputtered for a bit about loyalty and then hung up. The dirtiest trick so far. Brian tried to use my name to get an extension on a bill. A friend of mine works at the local electronics store where BRN was trying to buy a new high-end gaming console, right? BRN apparently told them, oh, just put on Kevin last name S account. He always covers me. My friend, knowing our family small town vibes, called me to verify me. Absolutely not. Do not extend him any credit under my name. He is not authorized, and I will not be paying for it. My friend was cool about it. Said he figured as much. BRN was apparently furious when they declined him and asked for his own payment. He stormed out. So not only are they entitled, they're now trying to commit fraud using my name. Unbelievable. My response to all this stone, while I've blocked Amanda, BRN, and George on my phone and all social media from their known accounts. All communication now has to go through my mother if they even bother, or Aunt Carol, the new flying monkey. The car insurance is the next one. Amanda's renewal is next week. She should have received the official letter from the insurance company by now, in addition to my heads-up email stating her coverage under my plan is ending. She hasn't said anything yet, probably hoping he'll magically fix it. She's in for a rude awakening when she tries to drive without insurance or has to pay the full whack for her own policy on that SUV. The only flicker of vulnerability I feel is for the kids. I love buying them things, helping with their school, but their parents have poisoned that, well, I can't keep enabling Amanda and Brian's irresponsibility and entitlement, especially not when they treat me like garbage. It's not even about revenge anymore. It's about self-preservation and drawing a line, and so clear even they can't pretend not to see it. They mock my reality, so I removed the financial fantasy. They were living in natural consequences, let them flow. 6 months later, it's been about 7 months since OK, gate life is quieter and significantly less drained financially and emotionally. The car insurance situation resolved itself with a bang. As expected, Amanda apparently just ignored all the warnings, both my heads-up email and the official letters from the insurance company, probably assuming I'd cave and renew it. About a week after her policy under my name lapsed, she got pulled over for a minor traffic infraction. Cop runs her plates, surprise. No insurance. The car was impounded on the spot. Amanda got a hefty ticket and a mandatory court appearance. The calls I got from my mother were epic. Apparently, it was all my fault for not reminding her properly and for setting her up to fail. Melissa, she could lose her license. Kevin, the car is gone. How will she get the kids to school? How will BRN get to? Well, wherever BRN goes. Mom, Amanda is a grown woman. Ignoring official letters and emails about insurance is her decision. Driving without insurance is her decision. The consequences are hers too. I ensured she was notified through multiple channels weeks in advance. Brian predictably had no money to get the car out of impound or pay the fines. Amanda certainly didn't. The SUV, which ID put that huge deposit on, was eventually sold at auction by the impound lot to cover fees. They lost it completely. They're now a one clunker car family. Whatever beater BRN was occasionally used. Last I heard, Amanda is taking the bus, and the kids are indeed in public school. And you know what? They seem to be doing okay. Maybe even better, not having to live up to a private school image their parents couldn't afford. George, my dear brother. After the eviction, he apparently did couch surf for a while, annoyed a series of friends. Finally, and this is the shocker, he got a full-time job not at a bar, but as a stockham assistant at a local supermarket. It's not glamorous, but it's steady. He's sharing a crappy apartment with two other guys. He actually sent me a text a month ago from a new number. ID blocked his old one, so he clearly went to some effort to get a message to me. The text, "Hey, just wanted to say I was a jerk about your illness. I get it now that I'm actually working my butt off and still exhausted. Sorry." Given it was an apology and from a new unknown number, I decided to reply briefly. Apology accepted. Take care of yourself, George. Maybe there's hope for him. Maybe. But the bank of Kevin is still closed. BRN and Amanda, zero apologies. Zero self-awareness through the family grapevine. Mom, who I still talk to, albeit with firmer boundaries. I hear they constantly complain about how I ruin their lives and abandon them. They're apparently struggling significantly. Brian freelance career is still non-existent, and Amanda yoga classes aren't paying the bills. They've had to seriously downgrade their lifestyle. No more organic everything. No more boutique clothes for the kids. No more weekend getaways they couldn't afford. They've even started blaming my mom for not forcing me to help them. The audacity. Aunt Carol still tries to mediate occasionally, which means guilt tripping me. I just say, Carol, my health is my priority. Their choices are theirs. Shuts her down pretty quickly. Now the attempt by BRN to use my name for credit. I had a quiet word with a lawyer friend. We sent Brian a very formal cease and desist letter regarding any attempt to use my name or credit mentioning potential legal action for fraud. Haven't heard a peep about that since. He's probably too scared to even jaywalk now. The revenge, if you can call it that, wasn't about a big dramatic showdown. It was watching them flail against the hard reality of their own making. They genuinely believed they were entitled to my money, my support, regardless of how they treated me. The casual cruelty of their faking it for attention comments revealed their true colors. When their credit cards were declined, when the rent wasn't paid, when the school called about tuition, when the car got impounded. Those weren't my actions against them. Those were the direct, unavoidable consequences of their actions and their attitude. They mocked my struggle, and in doing so forfeited the privileges that came from my goodwill. I'm now putting that extra money into things that actually help my health. Better quality food, some alternative therapies. My doctor recommended a more ergonomic WFH setup, and I'm saving for a solo trip somewhere peaceful when my next remission period hits. It's sad in a way. I'm more in the family I thought I had. But I'm not sad about cutting off the financial pipeline. To people who clearly saw me as an ATM first and a person second. They didn't expect their okay to be met with such a decisive okay from my end. They really didn't. And watching their frantic apologies when the money dried up. That, my friends, was justice served. Cold, perhaps, but incredibly satisfying.